So when Sterling Timepieces got in touch and sent me the new Campbell watch, I'll be honest guys, I was super impressed and a little bit of wee popped out. That's right guys, we're talking about a micro brand today, Sterling Timepieces and their 40mm tool watch, dive watch, Campbell. I've got to say straight off the bat, I was super genuinely impressed and there's not much negativity about this watch at all. I've been really impressed. Everything about it so far has just really hit the nail on the head, but ultimately micro brands, they're quite a diverse subject. So I want your comments and I want you to tell me what you think of the watch. Right, let's start with the Lume. Everybody loves Lume. There's not a watch addict, watch enthusiast out there that doesn't like Lume. I think even my wife likes Lume. And this watch has it in abundance and it's got a lumed bezel. I just love it. But what I would say is maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, I would say that lumed bezels blew my socks off. Now it seems more and more micro brands are getting lumed bezels. So I don't know if the technology or the costs have changed, but lumed bezels are a little bit more of the norm in micro brands. That's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. And this one looks the absolute business. So there's nothing not to like about this lumed bezel. It's really bright, really luminous, which what else can you ask for when you're looking at a lumed watch? So the Lume is a great place to start. Absolutely, oh la la, perfection. As far as Lume goes anyway, that is. The second thing I want to talk about is the rubber strap. Now sometimes with micro brands, the strap can let the watch down. It's almost like a secondary thought, but on this occasion it's definitely not, guys. The rubber strap is the most important thing for me with a rubber strap is the suppleness and the ease of which it goes around your wrist. And this, guys, just hits the nail on the head. I'm really impressed with the quality of the rubber strap. It's got little nubbins on the underside to let your skin breathe. Ultimately, on a hot day, it's not going to do jack shit, but they have gone to the effort to give it holes and give it breathing space, and that's what your wrist does need ultimately on a rubber strap. The clasp is a really well made as well. It's just easy to put on, easy to put off, and the little holders as well, they are not too big, they're not too small, they're just right, which again, some micro brands don't seem to get it just quite right. So for me, the rubber strap again is another really good positive on this watch. Drilled lugos for me are not something that I particularly enjoy. I don't know why. I almost think they hark back to an old-fashioned time with watches. They are so much easier to change straps with them. And for me, I always think it was a aesthetics thing where you could see a hole in your watch. I didn't like that. Ultimately, when I'm wearing this watch, I don't think I've ever actually noticed the lug holes being drilled. But when you do need to change it out, excuse my French, what an absolute piece of piss it is to do. You just pop it in straight out and it comes with a free NATO, does this watch as well. So absolutely fantastic there. So the free NATO looks the business. It's a free NATO, don't get me wrong. It's not out of this world quality, but it's a nice gesture. This watch, I feel, it's a bit of a strap monster, to be honest. The dial, it's got a real clarity, really clean, crisp design, and it only uses two colours, black and white. It has got a smidge of orange on the minute hand, but ultimately I think it's going to be a massive strap monster. So going back to that orange hand, for me, not always that splash of colour is necessary. I think the same on the Omega Speedmaster. It's got a little bit of red on the seconds hand and under 12 o'clock. Sometimes as a watch addict, that takes away the ability to dress it up with other straps because you feel that the little bit of red don't go with a strap. Totally pathetic, totally not needed, is it? But ultimately, yeah, I think I would have liked to see a fully black and white crisp dial. It's a real small bit of orange and nobody else will notice, but for me, that's just my design. That's what I would want. But what do you think of the orange hand? It's a great looking watch in it so far. I shouldn't complain too much, should I? Right, onto some juicy stuff. This watch it's a bargain. It's only 300 quid. You do get a lot for your money, and I think ultimately that is a really good value price. It's 200 meters of water resistance. It's really light and easy to wear, and I think it only comes in at less than 100 grams, which is really good. It's got the caliber 9015 in there, sapphire glass, which you've got to expect, haven't you, in most watches nowadays. It's got the 316L steel, and it's got 42 hours of power reserve, which is decent. it's not the best in the world, but it could have been a bog standard 38. So I think it's only 4 hours more in it. But psychologically, when you say 38, you sort of go, But anything more than that is good enough. So as I touched on at the beginning of the video, this is a 40mm case. Now it's just perfection in sizings. They've got all the dimensions for me. They just hit the nail on the head. It's a 40mm case, 13mm thickness, 20mm lugs, and it's got 45.5 lug to lug. So really compact, really wearable, really good looking. So for me, I actually thought it was a 39 when I first tried it on, but for me, I think they really have just got those dimensions spot on. Now, I don't know if you've been looking at the watch close enough to realise the bezel doesn't go 5, 10, 15 like a normal diver's bezel. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. God, it took me ages to figure out what it's for, and I'm not 100% sure, but I've figured out a way to use it, and I think it can be used as a GMT hand. So, if you know it's in America, let's say it's 7 o'clock now, you move the bezel to the hour hand where it says 7 o'clock, and then you can dual read 2 times at the same time. So you tell the time, local time, on the dial as you would, but then you read the outer bezel and it tells you the time in whatever country you choose. Now, I don't know if that's right. I don't know if it works. It does work, and I hope that's the right explanation. I promise you now, I am definitely not a watch expert. I'm just a watch addict, and I love watches. And you know what, guys? They've hit the nail on the head with this one. Good thing about this is this company is that they are ex-military, building watches, marketed mainly at the military, but this is a great everyday wear. And the good thing, they give 10% to charity from all military charities from all sales. So they're doing something good. They've made something really brilliant, actually. Right, guys, what do you think of the Sterling Campbell? Do me a favour, just go on their website, check them out, read the stories. It's actually quite interesting. Right, guys, over and out. I'll see you in the next one.